States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, Jason. I knew you would say under God the way it's supposed to be said. To sing our national anthem, we have a leading voice, black voice for Trump, and an incredible singer, Ms. Keisha King. Give her a round of applause.
Hey, Jacksonville. We need 4 more years of President Trump. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you. God bless you.
Isn't she amazing? Give her another round of applause. That's how the national anthem is supposed to start. Grab a seat, but I know you're going to jump right back up in a second. I'm so excited to introduce our first of 2 key speakers. Back in 2015, the Trump Revolution didn't exist yet. It was just an idea in one man's head, and then 2 men came together. Corey Lewandowski and Donald Trump created the greatest revolution for American pride and rebirth than in any time in American history. He came up with the idea of let Trump be Trump. He came up with the idea of Trump flags and Trump signs and having a ground game that was revolutionary. So if you enjoy the Democratic tears on CNN in 2016, if you enjoyed those, you're going to really love them in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, campaign manager Corey Lewandowski.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo! Thank you, guys. You know, thank you so much for being here. I'm not going to be very long because it's a beautiful day here in Florida, but we got a lot of work to still do. And we're going to win Florida, so I don't need to stay here anymore. You know that. I love you guys. Listen, let me tell you where we are. 4 years ago, going into Election Day, we didn't have one poll that showed Donald Trump winning in the state of Michigan. He won that state by 10,704 votes. Today, 3 polls all show Donald Trump winning in Michigan. In the state of North Carolina, they told us we couldn't win 4 years ago. They took a chance on Donald Trump, and what has he done? He's rebuilt our military and given the men and women uniform the pay raise they deserve, and North Carolina is going to be delivered for Donald Trump. You know, guys, I'll tell you something. I have the privilege to travel this country, and I flew with the president on Sunday. We're up in Maine and New Hampshire and back in Washington, D.C. and he's doing 4 stops today in Pennsylvania. But you know what I know? I know this man loves this country, and he stands with the men and women on the thin blue line. So let's give them a hand because they deserve it. That's right. Thank you, fellas. We love you. You know, guys, I'll tell you what, the America I grew up in, we stand for the flag and we kneel for God. But as they call it, the Harris-Biden ticket sees things a little differently. See, Sleepy Joe reminds us he's running for the U.S. Senate again. Give him a look, he says. I'm running for Delaware, maybe you like it. And then he had a hard time this week remembering who he was running against, that guy George Jetson, George Washington. The guy's been in Washington so long, he's served with them all. But I'll tell you guys, you should be afraid, and you should be very afraid, because our very way of life is at stake in the next few days. The very foundation of what our country has stood for over 200 years is at stake. And I'm going to ask you to do something, which is what I'm here to do every day, which is to take this country and pass it to the next generation better than it was left to us. It is our obligation to do that. And so all the men and women who have worn the uniform of this great country, who have fought and died for our privileges that we have here, we have the obligation now to them. And for our children and hopefully our grandchildren, we must pass this country on the way it was left to us, but better. So guys, look, the best is yet to come. There is nobody in America who is working harder for you than Donald Trump. Let me tell you something. Donald John Trump, I have had the privilege to know for 6 years. I've called him boss. I've called him a friend. I've called him the president-elect. But the greatest thing I've been able to do is to call him my president. And so, with your help, he and Mike Pence are going to go back to Washington. They're going to finish the projects they started. They're going to make sure that we have the same opportunities in the next 4 years that we had in these 4. And they're going to make sure that we send Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris and AOC out of Washington. So guys, I want to thank you for being here. I know it's hot, and I know it's a beautiful day here in Florida. I know you guys are going to deliver this state for your president, his home state, the great state of Florida. So thank you. And I'm now just going to take a minute to introduce to you someone who you all know already. He's a local guy. He made a decision to go to Washington, which I don't know why the hell anybody wants to go to Washington. But you know, most people know John as the former sheriff, which I think everybody loves the police, and John was our great sheriff in this community. John Rutherford decided to give up his career in law enforcement as a sheriff, go to Washington, D.C. to push back those terrible policies that are left. And so please join me and welcome Congressman John Rutherford to the stage.
Thank you, Corey. God bless you, brother. Good afternoon, Florida Patriots. Great to be here with you this morning. Listen, before we go on, I have a small confession to make. Back in 2016, I told you all then that was going to be the most significant election cycle of your lifetime. Well, I was wrong. 2020 will be the most important election cycle of your lifetime. Without a doubt. Now, I have to tell you, the choices are stark. High taxes versus low taxes. It's amazing the stark differences that we have before us. So I can tell you the work that's being put in. I want to thank all of the volunteers and all the folks that have worked on these campaigns. Thank you all very much. Now, by your cheers and applause, I want to know who thinks President Donald Trump deserves 4 more years? 4 more years. 4 more years. Absolutely. Now listen, let me tell you what else he deserves. He deserves a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. Then the president won't have to worry about these impeachment scams. Support red leadership in the House. Now it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you today one of the gentlemen that is really working so hard. He's almost working as hard as the president, but when I heard the president was doing 14 events in 3 days, nobody can outwork that. But I got to tell you, this gentleman is working. I see him all over Florida. I see him on the news all over the country. He is working hard to put his dad back in office. Eric Trump, give him a hand. Eric. Yes, sir, buddy.
Oh, Florida, we're going to win this thing. Florida, I promise you we're going to win this thing. We love you guys so much. It's hard to believe. After 4 years, it's hard to believe we're back here, guys. How are you? Oh, and Jacksonville loves Trump that much, I can tell you, and Trump loves Jacksonville. So, guys, we had the greatest week this week. We had the greatest week. So everybody's seeing my father. He's all over the place, right? As the congressman just said, 14 rallies in 3 days. Pretty incredible. We had a little Supreme Court justice that got nominated. What do you think of Amy? Biden's pretty much still sleeping in his basement. All on Hillary Clinton's birthday. Guys, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. But guys, we're going to win it. We're going to win it for our country because we need to. And frankly, we deserve to. The job my father's done is really second to none in this country. It's second to none. And you know, if you look at what the radical left stands for, I don't need to tell anybody out here this, but they want to take away your free speech. Does anybody like Kayleigh McEnany in this crowd? They threw Kayleigh McEnany off of Twitter. Can you possibly believe it? This is the White House press secretary for the United States of America. And that's the media. They threw Kayleigh McEnany off Twitter. You know, they threw Don off too, but Don deserves it. Does that make sense? You know, I remember we have this fun little group chat that goes on and on, little family group chat. Don's like, they literally just threw me off of Twitter. I go, good. You deserve it. Everybody in this country will get a little peace and quiet for a little while. But guys, they want to take away your free speech. I'll give you a little secret, right? So we sign up for all of Biden's emails and campaigns. I'm telling you something I'm not sure if I've told many people. And he signs up for all of ours. We sign up for his. He signs up. You know, when we send it to a Gmail account, an email from us, meaning an email my father sends and an email that Biden sends, there's a little unsubscribe under the Trump email, but there's no unsubscribe under the Biden email. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that very convenient? Guys, they want to take away our free speech in this country. They want to take away faith in America. You see that every single day. They want to take out under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. That's their big thing. And they want to take in God we trust off of our currency. And they want to take the Pledge of Allegiance out of schools. And they want to kneel for the national anthem. Guys, that's who this party is. This isn't the Democratic Party. This is the far left radical party. They're unrecognizable. Guys, this isn't the party of JFK. JFK would be sitting right here with us today. He really would be. He'd be sitting right there. And they want to take away your Second Amendment. They're not taking away our Second Amendment. And they want to take away our Constitution, and they want to allow the greatest people in this country, law enforcement, to have bricks thrown at them in Portland, in Seattle, in Minneapolis, in Chicago. You know, the men and women of law enforcement, they are the greatest people we have in this country. And to all of you out there, we love you and we appreciate you. And this country is behind you. So thank you guys for what we do. Thank you for what you do. They want to increase your taxes by $4 trillion. Isn't that nice? So they want to take away my father's tax cuts. And then they want to add another $4 trillion, right? So the same party that's willing to give $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America, wants to increase your taxes. Isn't that really convenient? Isn't that nice? They want to socialize your health care. You've seen that, right? I mean, Kamala Harris came out and said, we want to get rid of 180 million private health care plans. By the way, isn't that a beautiful sign right there? Isn't that beautiful? I mean, how much better could that timing have been? Trump 2020, the best is yet to come. Guys, isn't that better than Biden's slogan, which is going to be a very, very dark and cold winter? Did everybody hear that? In the debate, it's going to be a dark, dark winter, Biden says. And my father says, no, it's not going to be a dark winter. It's going to be a beautiful winter. We live in the greatest country on earth. Live in the greatest country. And they want to ban plastic straws. That's another big part of their platform, banning plastic straws. You know, it's actually the #1 selling thing on the Trump campaign website is a 10-pack of big, beautiful, red plastic straws with Trump written across them. And they're made in America. Yes, they are. Along with the hats. The hats are made in America. Everything's made in America. And guys, you look at what my father wants to do on the other side. He wants the greatest economy. He wants the lowest unemployment, lowest African-American unemployment, lowest Hispanic unemployment, lowest female unemployment. He wants jobs to go through the roof. He wants 401ks to go through the roof, pension plans. He wants America to be the wealthiest country in the world. And guys, he wants the greatest military as well. I see a lot of people who served. I can tell just by looking at the hats. Thank you very much. Thanks for the service. We love you. We love you and we appreciate you. You know, my father's philosophy about war was always very different. He goes, why are we spending 20 years in the Middle East at the cost of trillions of dollars? Let's do this. Let's do this instead. Let's take that money and let's invest in our military and our country. Let's build the greatest military the world has ever seen. And if we ever have to go in, which I never want to do, if we ever have to go in, you go in so hard and so violently that no one ever messes with the United States of America again. And you see it, guys. You see it. Look at the new aircraft carriers and submarines and the F-35s. And does anybody like the U.S. Space Force? Do you remember how hard the radical left fought against the Space Force? It's really an amazing thing. My father goes, no, it's the next dimension of war. Like, you need to create the Space Force, and we have to have the best satellites, and we've got to have the best weapons, and we've got to have everything else. And remember the Democrats, no, you can't do the Space Force. We don't want it. Do you remember they held up funding? So now we have the beautiful Space Force. And guys, we've got the best ultrasonic weapons and everything else. The military is rebuilt. You know, one of the first things they told my father when he got to Washington, D.C., they had a general who came up to him, sir, please, no matter what you do, make sure you don't start any conflicts. He's like, I ran on the platform of getting out of endless wars, but why would I start any conflicts? Well, sir, we are almost out of ammunition as a country. We're almost out of ammunition. None of you guys are out of ammo, that much I can tell you, right? Yet this is what the last administration left him. This is what the last administration, look at the VA. You had 320,000 incredible vets who died under Obama and Biden waiting in line to get into the VA. It would take 6 months, 8 months. And so guess what? My father got in there and he said, listen, if you don't like the VA, very simple. You know what you do? Go to the private doctor of your choice and the US government will pay the bill. Very simple. And instantly it was fixed, guys. Instantly it was fixed. But what about criminal justice reform? And how about opportunity zones? Why did it take a guy who had never slept a night literally in Washington, D.C. before the inauguration? Why did it take him to do criminal justice reform in this country? And why did it take him to do opportunity zones? And why did it take him to build 400 miles of southern wall? You have the lowest human trafficking in the history of the country. The lowest amounts of drugs coming into this country, the lowest amounts of illegal immigration. Why did it take a guy who knew nothing about politics to figure this out? Why? It's true. He is true. It's true. And look at opportunity zones. And that's why we have the incredible support of so many, incredible black voices for Trump and Latinos for Trump. So guys, you look at the economy and you look at the military and you look at the VA and you look at opportunity zones and you look at criminal justice reform and you look at immigration reform and protecting our southern border and standing up for the men and women in blue and standing up for our American flag and standing up for our Constitution. And guys, standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance. There's no more burning the American flag. No more burning the American flag. Guys, it's why we fight. It's why we fight. Believe me, it's the last job in the world our family needed. This is the last thing in the world our family needed, but we love red, white, and blue. We love what that is right there. We love this flag. And I can tell you, my father was tired of watching people disrespect it, and my father was tired of watching politicians apologize for the greatness of this nation. We live in the greatest country in the world, and guys, that's why we fight. That's why we fight. And for all the spiritual people out there, we didn't stand a chance. We had no one. We had Corey, we had myself, we had Don, Ivanka, my wife, and my father. We didn't have any friends in Washington, D.C. This wasn't our thing, right? Hillary raised $1.5 billion. My father raised $300 million, and we knew nothing about Washington, D.C. And by the way, we had the entire press against us. Make no mistake about it. There was somebody up above. Somebody up above was looking down and they had their hands on the process. And you know what the Bible says? Sometimes God picks imperfect people for interesting times. And you know what? They picked my father because he had guts and he had backbone and he had conviction and he had fight. And he was willing to put it all on the line, and he was willing to go into Washington, D.C., and he was willing to tear down the system. Tear down the system. That's what he does every single day. You know what I have to tell you? I have to tell you guys, before I go, I have to tell you, it's really interesting. If you look back at 2016, listen to some of the chants back then, and they were great, right? CNN blank. I won't say it out of any respect for any kid here, but And then you had Build the Wall. Everybody liked that chant, right? And you had Lock Her, yeah, exactly, Lock Her Up. Yeah, yeah. You know, recently, Lock Her Up in 2020 has changed to Lock Him Up. It was originally about Hunter Biden. Now it's really about Joe Biden. I mean, guys, if I did 1/1000th of what Hunter Biden did, I'd be in jail for the rest of my life, just so you know that, all right? Can you believe these emails? $10 million to be held by H, Hunter, for the big guy. Guys, could you imagine if I sent an email like that? Or if an email was ever sent, please don't mention Joe Biden's name in email. He's very, very paranoid. He only wants to meet in person. Could you imagine if I sent an email like that? Guys, this is bad stuff. It's really, really bad stuff. But you know what? When you look at the chants, guys, as much fun as 2016 was with the chants, Lock Her Up and CNN Blank and, Build the Wall and many others, listen to the chants today. We love you. We love you. Guys, guys, this is no longer politics. This is no longer politics. It's not. When was the last time any political candidate had thousands and thousands of people this kind of support? This is no longer politics. This is a modern day revival that we're having in this country. We're going to take back this nation. We are, and we're going to protect it from the radical left. Jacksonville, we love you. We appreciate you. We love the American flag. We love the Pledge of Allegiance. We love faith in America. We love law enforcement in America. We love our military. And we love everything that this nation stands for. And I promise you in 3 days, we are going to beat these guys. And we are going to beat them in a wave. We are going to beat them in a way that they've never seen coming. God bless you, Jacksonville. God bless you, Florida. Get out there and vote. We love you guys. We appreciate you. God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.
As soon as you are able, woman, I am willing to make the break that we are on the brink of. My cup is on the table, my love is spilling.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, stay right here. Stay right here. We're hearing some numbers about this crowd. They think a few dozen of you might be here today.